Here we go. You wanted it unscripted, raw, purely non-AI, but talking about AI, because this is the only way you're going to get that actual genuine authenticity. Imagine you are a medieval monk. You had dedicated your life to illuminating manuscripts by hand, and in doing so, in these beautiful texts that you're making, you are communing with the divine. You are enacting the great act of the Creator. And this work is painstaking and detailed and difficult, but you take joy in what you're doing and what you have dedicated your life towards. Now, of course, if that is what you've done, you are going to see anything that comes off those newfangled printing presses as being slop. That's what you're going to see them as, because they don't contain any of the same imbued sense of time, dedication, craft, all of those things to which you hold sacred is suddenly besmirched. It's ruined as far as you're concerned by this ability to mass produce the work you have spent so much time and effort into doing. That is exactly the same as creators are feeling today with AI. If you're watching this on YouTube, you may well be a creator yourself and share exactly the same opinion. And it's entirely founded. No wonder you'd feel that way. But try and count all the printing presses in the world today versus the amount of dedicated manuscripts. There's an inevitability of these huge, what I call cognological changes. And we're in the midst of that one right now. You just happen to be in the same position as a medieval monk was back then. And you can rail against, you can fight, you can curse, you can damn them to hell as much and as far as you want. It's not going to stop the spread of it. And it's not going to stop it subsuming, because each cognology, language was subsumed by writing as the official function for serious information. Writing was then subsumed by the printing press, and now the printing press is being subsumed by AI. Each one changes and expands the flow of information and what we can do with information. And information is now being switched from, in that printer scene era, everything sees information as being set, solid, fixed, scarce, so we have to have bottlenecks and channels for it. There has to be overseers and gatekeepers such as editors and people at the higher ranks in authority, media, etc., who regulate the flow of information. Thus, there's a scarcity to it, and that's what makes it valuable. And sacred. It's treated, when something is written down, it's taken as gospel. It's taken as there's a validity to it. And those three ideas of information being set, scarce, and sacred are now being undone by AI, just as print undid manuscripts before it. And now information is transforming so that it is now soft, as in it's malleable. You can turn a written page into a diagram, into a drawing, into a video. You can mold it, you can shape it. So information is no longer set and solid like a print book was, or printing even on a computer screen. Information is now soft, malleable. It's now no longer scarce. It's now suffused. It's everywhere. Every single day, more and more things are capable of being connected to the internet and connected to having AI on board them. Just the same as print was expanded to newspapers, to pamphlets, and then eventually into radio and television, all along this broadcast media. But information is now suffuse, so it's no longer scarce. It's everywhere, and it's never been more accessible to everyone. You don't have to buy a book. You don't have to purchase this scarcity of information. And it's no longer sacred. The gatekeepers were able to keep a sacred nature towards information, towards print, by having books came out at certain times, certain books could be published, certain things were past the test, etc. It's now secular. It's escaped the clutches of the gatekeepers. It's everywhere. So information used to be set, scarce, sacred. Now it's soft, suffused, and secular. And that's the big change that we are all facing. It's incredibly, that we are all living in a stage of maximum upheaval. But this happened before. Last time it was we call that period between the invention of the printing press and the first 50 years is called the incunabula. It's when they were first finding things out about how this new thing of print, how manuscript was gradually fading away, and how we were figuring out things like paragraphs, standardized spelling, full stops. The book that you see today took 50 years to come into fruition, for it to be a version of a standardized printing. And that's the process we're slap bang in the middle of. And so, yes, this is why you're railing against, or why you may find yourself railing against slop, in the same way that those monks would rail against the printing press. But rail and rail you can, but it's not going to change, and that's the hard part you have to accept.